Hey everyone, so I want to give you guys a quick update on the last week of my network learning project, so here goes. So this video is to summarize all the learning that I've done on my network learning project for CEP 810. And the goal of this project was to create a basic print on the TAS Lullabot 6 so that I could advance my understanding so my students next year would be able to print replacement robotics parts. But I ended up getting so much more done than I anticipated, so let's get straight into it. For this online research challenge, I ended up going to many different types of websites to try and learn about my 3D printer. I went to Reddit and Affinity Space many times. I went to YouTube, and these two spaces ended up being some of the more popular, but I also got a lot of help from different forum posts for fixing problems with my 3D printing, and I was able to learn a lot of information about the STL files and different prints from this website called Thingiverse. And I created this spreadsheet explaining what was helpful and what was not helpful across my project. So one of the most helpful videos that I found was this video from James Bruton. He was explaining how to unbox the printer. He set the whole printer up in real time and was explaining the names of all the different parts, which helped me get a good sense of how the parts all work together. In James Bruton's guide, he also mentioned there was a user manual, so I sought out from the Lullabot forum this user manual, and I ended up referencing this a lot throughout my entire process. So one thing that wasn't so helpful was social media. I went to websites like Pinterest and Instagram, and I looked all over the place for ideas helping me to learn how to 3D print. But the issue was all of these different websites were kind of just sharing ideas of fun prints, but they weren't really explaining how to do it. So I really struggled when it came to social media. I found it wasn't very helpful. So to showcase some of my successes of what I've learned, I'm going to showcase something that I was able to print called the Hive. And in this print, you're going to notice there are many different parts over here, and all these parts were individually printed on a software, which is the slicer software for my TAS Lullabot. And in this software, I had to learn a lot of the different settings and tinker around with them because a lot of times I would print it and I came across a lot of different mistakes. So the first mistake was with the Rocktopus over here that I was printing during blog post number 2, and I had a z-axis error when I was printing. After moving past that issue, I then tried to create this Hexagon module design drawers, and when I was trying to create this, I kept printing this hex drawer, and the issue was whenever I would try and print this guy over here, the different layers would not correctly add up. If I go all the way down to the bottom, this layer over here was continually messing up, but I played around with the speed changing from high to slow, where high detail almost doubled the print time, but it was more accurate. The speed versus detail were different things that I tinkered around with. The material I used to print was the poly light. I played with the infill, which basically means how much is going to be filled in on the inside over here. The smaller the infill, the lower the print time, but it also uses less material. But generally speaking, you want to use something around 20%. I learned from James Burton's video, which explains how much you need for the structures to be stable. So to get to the point that I'm at right now with all the 3D printing settings, I had to play around with a lot of different things in Tinker. But I want to focus right now to showcase for you guys some of the successes that I had to show my growth and progress for this project. So here goes. So I ended up printing this drawer, and I was able to print the different drawers over here. But one of the issues that I came across was that the drawer was actually too big the first time. It wouldn't fit inside this design over here. So I had to take this and I had to learn how to scale it. So I ended up scaling this down to 99.5%. And when I scaled this down a little bit, it was just a little too big. So I scaled it down to 99%, and it was the perfect size, and it was able to slide in and out of this drawer over here. I also had a lot of issues with the knob over here, which you can see is what the pull is. And this knob I had to scale, and I had to increase it to 103%, which is when it fit in, because every time I placed these two knobs inside, it kept falling out. That's what I learned on this difficult online learning project. Until next time, guys. Thank you for watching.